Another story I like to tell about my father, and as I said, he came to appreciate opera and symphony. I mean, he was born on a ranch east of Raton and went to Raton High School and came down here to play football. And so, I mean, he had not been exposed to great music much prior to working for the NYA. But he brought me over one day, said, come on, let's go over to the concert hall, which is what it was called then. And out here where you walk in and the ticket booths are and all that, those doors, there's a big semi trailer backed up there. And we were standing to the north of the semi trailer, and I'm sort of looking around like, next. And he said, just patience, patience. And pretty soon, like there were 10 guys or 12 men carried out this huge Steinway grand piano, which I think is still here. I don't know. And they're kind of quickly walking into the hall with this gigantic piano. And he said, I remember he said, he got a deal on it. So he was pretty happy about that. So, and it is still here, isn't it? I think that's the one, isn't it? The big long thing.
Yeah, concert grands are huge.
Yeah, and there may have been more than one. I'm not sure, but I remember seeing all those guys struggling with that huge piano.
Yeah, every theater or concert hall certainly worth its salt has to have a good concert grand.
Yeah, I'm sure. In those days, there really wasn't a good venue in Albuquerque. The only venues were the State Fair Coliseum, and it's a fine rodeo coliseum, but it's not. Anybody who's been there will tell you that it's just not a place to listen to music. And the other place was the Civic Auditorium, and I don't know where you remember that. It was a dome structure, and it was really meant for boxing, a boxing ring. And I remember I saw the Rolling Stones there, I think, or somebody there, and it wasn't very good either.
You saw them, but you didn't really hear them?
No, I heard them just fine. In fact, I think my ears are still ringing. But no, there was no seating. It was like platforms, and I remember one platform collapsed and stuff. It was Marshall.
In the early history of the symphony, they talked about playing at the Civic Auditorium and just hated it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Or Carlisle Gym.
Right. So yeah, he was really proud of this, and he told me he begged, borrowed, and stole the money. You know how hard it is to get money for the arts, and he said it took him 10 years. I assume he was joking about the stole part, but it was hard putting together the money, especially if you want to build something of this quality. So he was pretty happy about it.
Yeah, there was a story that part of the money came from the university owned land on the east side of town.
Mm-hmm.
He sold that off to help pay for this.
Yep.
So, yeah, and there was a time where there was an agreement with the city to make a joint venture hall.
Really? I didn't know that.
In the late 50s. That fell through because the city didn't, they backed out of the deal.
Backed out of the deal.
And it was actually going to be on the corner of Central and Cornell.
Huh. That I didn't know that.
That was I don't know where we found that. But essentially that meant that the university was going on loan, which meant your father was...
So it took another almost a decade to put together the money. Right. Yeah.
I know there were also a lot of funding issues, that the regents weren't sure that the money would be there, and that some citizens came along and said, here's some money, we'll make sure that this happens. So, there was some support beyond just your father's working on it. The people of the city wanted it as well. Yeah, and that's heartening to know because I know that, now with the recession on and everything, it's sometimes hard to fill the place. But it's really important to have that available, not only for adults but for kids, and that music it's got to live on because it's wonderful music.
mean, he used to play Carmen all the time. I got a little tired of Carmen, you know, but but basically, you know, it's all wonderful music, and it gave me, you know, a lesson in classical music and opera, whether I wanted it or not, you know. So it's a good thing.
Well, when he had the place in mind, I mean, obviously he was looking for a concert hall, but it was rigged and outfitted to do more than just offer concerts. Was that something that he talked about?
Well, he talked about this, the tower part, where you could have all sorts of backdrops, not just concert, but you could have plays, you could have whatever, and you could, you know, use this thing to pull up and let down backdrops as you need them. He did. I remember him saying that, yeah, and pointing it out to me when he took me around.
So from the very